Hello everyone, here is an honor mode guide for the Goblin Camp in Act 1 of Baldur's Gate 3. I'll be showing you the best items to grab, how to deal with the 3 goblin bosses, and some general tips and tricks for this area. The first thing we're going to do is go talk to True Soul Gut here. We're going to grab the Absolutes brand as there is some items that can benefit from this and dialogue will be easier for us. We're going to ask for her help however, and this is going to get her to take us into this room. She's going to offer us a poison potion. I would not recommend getting it to that point. We're just going to shut the door and jump her. So put it into turn-based mode here, and then you can just go ahead and attack her to get things started off. Now, this fight isn't very hard, especially when she's by herself, because we can just power through her with a variety of different attacks. Now, my team composition, I have a Hexblade Warlock, a Shadow Magic Sorcerer, a Blade Singing Wizard, and a Giant Barbarian. I found it to work greatly here, so this is just patch 8. The next thing we're going to do is go after Minthara, and you're going to find her over to this side here, showed it on the map, and you're just going to run up to her, and if you want to get her into Act 2 as a companion, just go and attack her and make sure that your non-lethal attacks are activated. So you can see that on my ability bar there. And don't use any attacks like the Caustic Band on her because that extra damage will take her out. You want to knock her out. So Booming Blade works really well here because that Scrying Eye is weak to thunder damage. So again, don't attack her with spells. Just do a melee attack like that to knock her out unconscious. We'll still get all the items from her, and this will allow us to get through it and recruit her in Act 2. Now, those are weak to thunder damage, so use that on there. Now, I'd recommend resting and then going after Dror Ragzlin here. So you can actually escape to the Defiled Temple. I'll show that off a little bit later. But I found that for this fight, since it's a little bit more challenging, to set up Darkness from the Shadow Magic Sorcerer, where your Hexblade can also hide out in it, and then also set up Hunger of Hadar in that area there. So they're all blinded. They're going to miss you a lot. They're going to have the hardest time hitting us. So that's nice. I got hit there, so Hellish Rebuke him back. This is just about pure raw damage, trying to get him down as quickly as possible. The darkness does help, however, and I also like to use the Kagha's Amulet there, and then I have Shadowheart heal Astarion, and that gives him the poison to now do a crossbow attack on this other attacker there. I do have a video on all the builds that I'm using here, so if you want to check that out for a little extra help, I have that on my channel. I'll link it in the description. Don't forget to grab the stash here, though. There's a couple good items, but hundreds of gold, so that's really useful, especially this early point in the game. Now, we're just going to fight our way out. There's going to be a lot of aggro on us because we fought every single goblin leader. Use Lightning Bolt there whenever you can to get large amounts of enemies taken out. And just continue to keep fighting. There are high ground advantages to going up those ladders there, so I'd highly recommend that if you found this area to be hard in the past. And just take out these spiders too. It's a free XP, and then we can also just take them out. One last thing for us to worry about. Now, we want to go rest at some point here, so we're going to go to the Defiled Temple area, and this is actually where one of the best items in the game is. So you're just going to go through this door over to the right-hand side here, and just go through and run to the Priestess Quarters entrance. So this takes you to the Ogre Priest here. Go talk to her, fight her, and kick her butt. And actually one of the best items. So you can grab the padlock key there. It's just on the bed. But this chest right here has the Amulet of Misty Step. Extremely useful, especially early game. Highly recommend equipping that on anyone that does not have movement. So my Giant Barbarian there. And then we're just going to... You can go out that way to the the Defiled Temple to rest if you want. It leads to the Underdark. But we do got to go recruit Halsin first before we end up leaving. I recommend, again, taking that long rest before we do this outer part, because this part is extremely hard. Now, again, recommend setting up Darkness right out the gate here. This is going to be good for our Shadow Magic Sorcerer and our Hexblade to be able to hide out in. You can also use Darkness arrows. I highly recommend Darkness for this fight here in particular, and having someone, whether it be a Devil Sight Warlock or the Eyes of the Dark Sorcerer, that can see in this, because it's extremely useful for keeping your team alive, which you'll see here. So just continue to pick away at them. Eldritch Blast and then offhand crossbows on a Hexblade Warlock works great there. And take out that Ogre first. That's going to be the hardest part. You can also leave through the Underdark and then come back through here and approach it from a different direction if you found that to be a little bit easier, because you can always peel back away. When it's here, you can only run back into the Goblin Camp. It's not ideal when we want to, have an easier fight. So you could approach this from the other direction, but that darkness is really good, and then you can always have someone run away if you need to through the Defiled Temple. But that is how to do the Goblin Camp in Act 1 in Honor mode. If this was useful, hit the subscribe button below.